Welcome to Into the Blue, presented by Penelope Bourbon, a weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
We're back for another one. Gabby, Shirley here alongside Ben Pierce. We are recording this episode of Into the Blue from Benchmark International Arena. Ben, ahead of the Tampa Bay Lightning's second to last game of the regular season, which is crazy.
Crazy.
Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Ben and I were in the stands for the morning skate. It was not optional. Ben, it was really my first morning skate back.
Yeah.
I was here last week, but the team was on the road. And I feel like everyone just came out for me. The ice was like packed.
It was. Well, first off, our listeners are probably so happy right now that when they hit play, they heard your voice instead of mine for once. Now they're hearing mine like, oh, he's still here. Great.
You saw that.
Welcome back, Gabby, once again. But you're right. Like I was thinking too when we were in the stands today. I'm like, I think we have seen the same amount of full skates since you left because there have been so many optional skates after the Olympics. What was it? You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. Was it 13 forwards,
Correct.
9 defensemen?
That seems wild, but yes,
Right?
9 defensemen.
Like, I was saying them, that can't be right, but I
Yep.
think it was 9 defensemen. So I don't know if that's a good thing
and
or
3
a bad
goalies,
thing.
extra goaltender out there.
Yeah, depending on how you look at it, right? Like, okay, we got 9 guys out there. Obviously, that means maybe there's some question marks, and unfortunately, we did find out. Darren Radish will not play tonight. He'll miss a second straight game. And the forward surprise today was Brandon Hagel.
Correct.
Obviously, he scores a career-high 36th goal of the year the other night, and all of a sudden we don't see him again. Now, Coop did say post-practice, post-skate, that it sounds like the hope is that it's just a one-game thing.
Yes.
We'll see. But like you said, like how great was it to see that many guys out there? And like even walking the locker room afterwards, I'm like, there's so many people in this room right now. It was great. It was a good change.
Yeah, it was a really great morning skate. Again, my first one since going on maternity leave. I think so. I filled in for PK, and maybe I wasn't there, but it's all a blur. But yes, lots of players on the ice. Ben, we talked to the guys in the locker room after the skate, and I guess I would say the theme of the questions is just, all right, postseason's 2 games away. Like, what are you guys focusing on? What do you got to do to be ready? Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And which is crazy, right? You're talking to them, and you can tell even some of them are like, oh, here we go, right? And the big message today was the defensive zone.
Yep.
Right. We talked to Ryan McDonough, we talked to Declan Carlisle, and we asked, like, hey, what do you guys want to button up here over these next 2 games before the postseason starts? They both said defensive zone. And then, of course, in typical John Cooper fashion, we asked him, and we'll just let him take it away because he was pretty impressed with his guys. A lot of the guys this morning talked about shoring up the defensive zone as the biggest focus for them these last 2 games. When do you think your team's at its best?
I'm so proud of them. They listen in the meetings. Yes. What was the question? I'm like so excited about that.
when the defensive zone, when you guys are playing your best work in the defensive zone, what does that look like to you?
We're barely in it. You know, when we're spending long periods of time in our D zone, then there's a flaw in it somewhere, and usually we're not playing it hard enough or fast enough. So you're going to be in your D zone. Like you're in your D zone like 50 to 70 times a game. It's just a matter of how long you're in there, and that's the key for us. Get out as fast as you can.
Ben, you had John Cooper chuckling, smiling.
It might be the first time in history, right? Normally I ask him a question, I was telling you, he's looking at me like, what? So it was a nice change of pace there. But again, he mentioned it, and like he told us before, the best defense is offense, right? That's why that Hounds line of Gergensons, Gordon, Holmberg is so successful defensively, because they spend all their time in the offensive zone. So we'll see tonight. Detroit, although they're not a playoff team,
Right.
they've been in the mix all year. So it would be nice if they didn't have to play much defense, as Coop said. So we'll close it there, because I was laughing this morning, and just watching it again, I was laughing. He was so impressed that they're listening. So it's good, at least. They seem locked in this close to playoffs. So that was good.
They do seem locked in. All right, you mentioned the playoffs. We need to give our listeners an updated playoff picture because, again, it seems like it changes by the hour, Ben.
It does. It literally changes.
How? How is this? It's so crazy.
Well, what was it the other night, right? The Islanders were up, I think it was 1-0 on, was it Montreal? I don't know if it was Montreal or Buffalo. They're up 1-0, and then all of a sudden they give up like 4 straight goals and lose. And it's like, So you think even in the third period, you're like, okay, we know this result. What's the next part of the equation? And that changes in a matter of like 90 seconds. And all of a sudden, the whole thing just flips on its
This
head.
time last week, we were in first.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many tiebreakers this year, right? Like there's a scenario where this regular season ends and there's a three-way tie atop the Atlantic Division. Like it's not likely, right, given their different number of games left, but there is a real scenario where the top three teams in the Atlantic Division are tied and it comes down to tiebreakers to decide first, second, third. Would be nuts. But like as of right now, as of today, it's looking like the Lightning and Montreal are going to play if the season ended today in that first round series. The big thing with that, though, is even though we think that that's somewhat set, even today we still wouldn't know who's starting with home ice advantage, which is crazy, but that's how it is right now. So the Sabres are atop the division, as we know right now. I believe tonight they just need a win in regulation, and they would need the Bolts to have anything other than a regulation win.
Okay.
And they get the win. So if the Sabres win in regulation, the Lightning either go to overtime or lose in regulation. The Sabres win the division, which would lock in that Montreal Lightning matchup.
Right.
Still to figure out who gets home ice. But again, if Buffalo loses the next two games, the division's still up for grabs, and there's overtime points, and it's crazy. Like there's a scenario right now where the Lightning play Montreal, and then there's also crazy scenarios where they start the season or the playoffs playing one of Ottawa or Boston, or they could play the Buffalo Sabres if things really flip on its head. It's that insane right now where, like you said, we're going to wake up tomorrow, and that picture's probably going to look somewhat different.
Okay, so with all that being said, currently it's Tampa Bay, Montreal, and right, Ben, as it stands right now in this minute, the Lightning are starting on the road.
Yes.
Montreal, 1 game remaining, 106 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning have 2 games remaining with 104 points. So again, you got to pay attention to all of these games to see exactly how it's going to pan out. We will be sure to keep you posted.
I've said this many times. I work in words for a reason. The math starts coming out, and I'm like, all I can think is my high school algebra teacher looking at me and being like, you picked the right career path. Like, that's all I can imagine right now is, yeah, there's math and numbers, and there's a very specific reason that we have people in this building that do numbers. I am not one of them. So we'll keep people in the loop. But regardless, right now, I don't know that it matters in this Atlantic Division. Like, everybody's beating everybody on any given night, and it's crazy how, especially over the last month, I believe if you look at the top teams since January 1st, I think Montreal, Tampa Bay, and Buffalo are all in the top 5. Mm-hmm. And those are the top 3 teams in the division. So I think we're in for a great first round no matter what, but we'll see. It's, like you said, maybe it's possible yet by the end of this week we could have playoff hockey, which is crazy to say out loud.
Yeah, I'm so excited. With that being said, 2 more regular season games for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Ben, I don't even know exactly what question I want to pose to you because you've been just with the Tampa Bay Lightning as covering a professional hockey team, correct?
Yep.
This is my 5th season. The Lightning have made the playoffs, all now 5 seasons. Yes, they had 3 first-round exits, but they've always been a playoff team since I've been here. What are your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Lightning now facing 2 teams in Detroit and the Rangers who are already eliminated from the postseason? Obviously, they're fighting for, I don't know, jobs, contracts, etc.
Yeah.
But, like, do you think they approach these games thinking, like, let's just try to ruin Tampa Bay's night?
Well, especially tonight, Detroit, right? It's a divisional opponent that I would say even, like, they just got mathematically eliminated in the last week. Mm-hmm.
And they're
3
not
weeks
happy
ago,
about it.
this Detroit team was in a playoff spot. They were playing some really good hockey, and they've honestly just nosedived, right? Like, this was a team that people were like, this is the year, right? Detroit's flipping the switch. They're going to end. I think it was a 9-year playoff drought. That's now at 10, I believe.
Correct. Yep.
So, but people were like, look at this Detroit team, right? It seems like they're gonna flip the script. Of course, it didn't work out that way. But there's a lot of people in Detroit right now that are frustrated with how that's going, which means whether it's in the front office, whether it's in the coaching staff, players on that team, you don't know what's coming this offseason. You could be a guy that thinks you're safe and all of a sudden you're not. Like, that's what happens when you don't meet these so-called expectations that especially looked pretty possible a month ago.
Right.
So they for sure have something to play with, and then you add in the fact it's still a divisional game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how many times have Detroit and Tampa Bay clashed, and you're like, not expecting much tonight, and all of a sudden it's either a crazy hockey game, there's physical stuff, whatever.
It's more of the craziness.
Yeah, it just happens, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And I think, like, Ryan McDonough, when we asked him about it this morning, he's like, it's Detroit. Like, they've got a lot of pride in that room, and he mentioned, like, this isn't a group of guys who have never experienced this. Like they've got Patrick Kane, right? You're looking at Lucas Raymond and guys like Dylan Larkin, right? Olympians, guys who want to win. Like they're not just going to roll over, I think is how he said it this morning, McDonough. Like they're going to come in here and say, we're upset we didn't make the playoffs and we're going to play like it. So that's a tough one to me because Detroit, again, is a team that has the talent. It didn't work out for him this year, but you definitely can't look past him and say, let's get to the postseason.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Tampa Bay Lightning, Detroit Red Wings Monday, and then they face the New York Rangers again at home on Wednesday, and then it's playoff hockey.
It's crazy. Well, and even that game against the Rangers, right? They've had a horrible year. Horrible year.
They finished at the bottom of the Eastern Conference.
Right, so they're, 30th, I believe, as of today in the NHL standings total, league-wide.
That's a great question.
They've got a shot at the first overall pick, kind of that. It's been that bad of a year. With that said, I was shocked this morning when I looked up Igor Shesterkin. He has a .912 save percentage on the third worst team in the NHL. And obviously, we've heard from Vasi over the years, like Shesterkin is a very capable goalie. He's one of the best in the NHL. They have players on that team that can steal games. And Igor Shesterkin, I would say, is number one. Like although they're in 30th, it's another game where you can't just say, all right, pack it in. We'll see what happens in a couple of days. Because that's a guy that if he wants to, he'll stand on his head and make 59 saves if he has to.
It's true.
So the .912 save percentage, I literally was like, okay, well, the Rangers are this bad. Like, must be an off year for Igor. No, he's got a .912, which is one back of Vasilevsky's .913, which I believe is second best in the NHL with goalies of at least 20 starts this year. Crazy. It's nuts. The Rangers make no sense to me. Obviously, they've been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons this year. They blow it up, but you have to focus, I think, on these last two games, and like the guy said today, it's about building habits so that when the playoff game one does start, you're not flipping that switch to say, now we go.
Moral of the story, no games off.
Nope.
They just can't afford it. No team really can.
Nope. And there's home ice still.
Yes.
Right? We just talked about they can still, even if it's not these two teams, but if the Lightning play well and win both these games, that's how they take that home ice advantage that the guys have said. Would it be nice? Yes, but it's for sure an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's still stuff to play for. There's plenty to play for yet.
Can't wait. All right. Let's move on to some nominations, Ben.
Yes.
You mentioned talking to Ryan McDonough. You asked him about being nominated for the 2026 King Clancy Memorial Trophy.
Yeah, it just such a well-deserved nomination for Ryan McDonough. And it really is, like, you look at what this award's about, right? Like, it's a leadership award, but it's also involvement in the community. You've gotten to see this firsthand in the off season, how close his connection is to first responders, right? It's a family ordeal for him, and I'll let you touch on that in a second here. But he's very involved locally with first responders. I know through the player ticket program here, he donates and gives tickets to local first responders and organizations that support them so they can come experience Lightning hockey. He does so many little things, events and just stop-ins right at the hospitals. You always see him as one of the guys who's willing to go say hi to people who are in some of the toughest battles of their lives. And that's Ryan McDonough, right? I mean, he was a captain in the NHL. And from the time he was very young in this league, he's always been a leader. Specifically, the first responders, it's close to his heart. And I think that's where, especially here in Tampa, he's really embraced it.
Yes, shout out to the Ryan McDonough Bolts Beginnings, Ben. For any of our fans who have not seen it, you can find it on YouTube, and you get a good feel for it there because obviously we went back to his hometown, spent a lot of time with his family. You mentioned his close connection to first responders. His dad was a firefighter, and not only was he a firefighter, but Ryan McDonough talks about which maybe Ben is typical. Again, I do not have a firefighter in my family, but he talks about all the time they spent at the fire station. There was again, I'm going to butcher the details here, but whether it was around the Christmas holiday or in the fall, they would have all the families would come, all the kids, and they'd be making these crazy stews in the firehouse that would raise money for something. He has a lot of good memories. And again, his dad is just a fantastic human being, as Ryan McDonough is as well. So yes, that is his connection, and he does do all that he can to support first responders.
And not the only Lightning Bolt, by the way, that was nominated for an award.
We have another
beyond deserving nominee.
Can't stop talking about this guy.
Oh, Darren Radish, right? Like with the season that he's had. I know you've talked to Darren Radish a ton this year. I think everybody has.
Yes.
Quite frankly. But Darren Radish has been nominated for an award for not only his career season, but also what he's had to persevere through off the ice. And I'll let you take it from there. But two guys that deserve to be nominated.
Yes, nominee for the 2026 Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy, awarded annually to the NHL player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. And yeah, this guy has done it all. Everyone knows what he has been doing on the ice this season. But, right, Ben, it's taken him a while to get to the NHL, to get this sort of recognition. He finally got the opportunity, unfortunately, due to injuries this season. And he knew exactly what he had to do with it. And yes, things he's dealt with off the ice. I mentioned even just last podcast when we were talking again about how great he has been playing, that his dad passed away this season. Obviously, he was very close to his dad. You know, all the hockey memories. We did a Bolts Beginnings also with Darren Radish. And, right, the parents make it possible for their kids to play a sport and then to succeed in a sport. And his dad was a huge part of his journey. So that was really tough for him. So this nomination, it couldn't be better.
Yeah, and a guy, too, like you said, that started the year as that seventh defenseman. He wasn't playing
Like
every
the
night.
eighth defenseman.
Right. So he
Yes.
wasn't in the lineup every night, and then once he got in, there was no taking him out. And now he's got 70 points, right?
Yes, he
broke
does.
the franchise record for goals in a season by a defenseman this year with 23. Every expectation for Darren Radish is to the moon from where it started, even 10 and 15 games into the year. So good for Mac, good for Ratty, both guys that deserve the nominations. But hopefully they keep playing up to the way we know they can, because they're going to be a big part of this push here as the playoffs start.
I'm excited to see it.
Let's go.
All right, our Blue Line segment. We love this one. Thank you guys for all of your questions. I've been awful about asking for questions, but Ben Pierce did it for us, so thank you, Ben. Our first one is from Nancy. With only 2 games left, can you go over the milestones or career records our players have hit this season or may still hit in the next 2 games? And then she gave me a little shout out. Welcome back, Gabby. I have missed you. Nancy, I've missed you too.
So good. So good. Right. The top one to me is Nikita Kucherov, 1,000th point. He's one of the
Boom, I wrote
fastest
that one
players.
down, too.
Yeah, one of the fastest players
Yep.
in NHL history to the mark. He's still in the scoring race for the Art Ross Trophy.
He is.
Obviously, McDavid has pulled away a little bit, but it's Cooch. Would you be shocked if he put up a pair of 4-point games this week? Probably not.
Nope.
Right? It's Cooch. The other one to me, we just talked about it, Darren Radish, 22nd goal of the year.
Boom.
New franchise record. That one's up there. So many great goal celebrations from Ratty this year, by the way. I feel like every time they post a picture of the celebration, I'm like,
They've just gotten better.
they have. It's like every goal he scores, the celebration levels up.
perfecting
Yes,
it.
it's so good. So those are the two to me. And then I also just wanted to give a quick shout out to Eric Chernak. Just the other night, played in his 500th NHL game. And I believe, Gabby Shirley, he's your arrival interview today.
He is my arrival interview today.
Are you going to ask him about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I need to.
All right. So if she posts it, maybe you guys can check it out. But it will be played in bowl.
Correct.
Everybody can hear Eric Chernak talk about Game 500. Those are the 3 to me off the top of my mind. I know there's been so many this year that it's like a couple of first NHL goals, first NHL games. But it's been a great year for milestones.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about the first NHL goals.
Dominic James,
So good.
shootout goal.
How about Ben? I was just listening to 32 Thoughts, and they gave a shout out to Curtis Douglas scoring his first NHL goal. Unfortunately, not with the Lightning, but that was still nice to
Well
hear.
deserved. Well
Yeah.
deserved. Such a great guy. We both had so
really
much
is a
fun
great
talking to
guy.
him. Like the kind of guy that you're like, just is always in a good mood, right?
Yes.
Could be
And it
the
was a
worst day.
Great interview.
Oh, could be the worst day for anybody, and you go talk to Curtis Douglas, and your day gets a little bit better. Always, it's just great, fantastic. So good for Curtis Douglas. Just so many good moments this year.
So many good moments. Ben, you hit 2 that were also on my list. And again, Nancy, sorry, we're missing a ton, and these were just top of mind. Ben, we talked about it last podcast. I just added that the Lightning are in the playoffs for 9 consecutive seasons, tied for the longest run in the NHL. Love that. Just a big, broad one. And then Jake Gensel, career high in points with 87 this season. And you mentioned it earlier, Hagel, career high in goals with 36. So a little bit smaller, if you will,
Yeah.
but still cool to think about, considering those Jake Gensel and Brandon
Yeah.
Hagel, like, they're phenomenal players, and they are still doing better than they've ever done.
Yeah, so good. And I will say, I think I'm going to sneak one more in here. How could you not do the Dastu goal in Montreal?
I was really upset that I just was not there.
Right, and I honestly, I hadn't really we started talking about first NHL goals, and I'm like the homecoming for him in Montreal.
We're big
and again, a guy
Dastu
who
fans.
could be in quite the predicament here in short order if the Lightning do face the Canadians.
You're not kidding.
We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be many Dastu jerseys in the Bell Center if we do end up facing the Canadians, but I thought that was a great moment.
A little
with
hint:
Dastu.
Ben Pierce might be talking to him a lot.
Yeah,
if that does happen.
He might get sick of me. That's for sure.
Nah, never.
But we had a ton of great questions this week. And forgive me, Gabby, you might have the name down of the person who asked the second. Was it Bolts Breakdown?
Oh, it was.
Okay. Bolts Breakdown wants to know our favorite moments of the season. Mine, I feel like it's pretty obvious, but I'm going to make you go first. What is your favorite moment?
Well, actually, Ben, mine is perhaps a good transition from Nancy asking about records. Now, she did say players have hit.
Yes.
But my Nancy, which again I think summarizes my year too pretty well, is John Cooper, our fearless leader, and his 1,000th NHL game. That happened on December 31st last year, but this season. It was on the road against the Anaheim Ducks. Ben, I was supposed to go on that road trip, and then I was pregnant, and I was told I was not allowed to go. So again, things that really upset me. Big bummer. I obviously watched it from my couch. I was cheering for him. Then the celebration happens. It was I think a 4-game California road trip out that way. So December 31st was his 1,000th NHL game. And then the team comes back, and the first home game, which was on January 6th against the Colorado Avalanche, that was when the ceremony was. Again, I was not really working at that point, but I was still here in the building doing odds and ends. And I had all the plans to be present for that game, Ben, probably right up next to you in the press box. And then my water broke, and I went to the hospital. So, again, Ella was born the next day.
Yeah, that day's still a blur. I still remember being like, yeah, Gabby's gone. I was like, what? And you just came walking like, all right, gotta go.
That was a crazy moment. Again, just all-encompassing, right? Big fan of John Cooper, an incredible, incredible coach in this league, at the top of the league. 1,000 NHL games. I missed it in person, but I was so excited for the ceremony. And then my daughter Ella had other plans. So I'm going to go with that.
I'm not topping that. That you just won. My favorite moment, though, I said it was going to be obvious. It's got to be the Stadium Series game.
Another thing that I missed. Come on.
I know. I'm sorry. How can it not be, right?
Yes.
Like, you're looking at this game.
So good.
Hags scores, 11 seconds in, I believe. The fastest goal to ever start an outdoor game. And you're like, there's no way they're losing this game. All of a sudden, it's 5-1. You're like, are the people going to stay for the rest of this game? And then the craziest comeback, the greatest comeback, by the way,
goalie fight
in franchise history. You throw in the goalie fight by Vasi to kick it off. Like, again, another Darren Radish celebration. The Radish bomb from the point, and then Kucherov ties it late. Of course, you mentioned Jake Gensel. You're not. I'm sorry. In a regular season hockey game, you're not beating that game. And then it was outdoors, right? Like, that would have been an awesome
First
game.
one ever for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That might have been
Tampa.
the game of the year if it was here at Benchmark. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how crazy that game was. And then you're like, oh, by the way, we're going to play it outside for the first time in Tampa, Florida, in front of an extra, 20,000, 30,000. Like, insane. Absolutely nuts. So,
that was perfect.
Yeah, that's got to be the top moment for me. It has to be the Stadium Series game, because that was one of the games this year that in the press box, I had myself up there and I was like yelling. I was like, whoa, right? Like, oh, like that Hagel 11 seconds and I'm in my seat at the
which is against press box etiquette, but Ben couldn't help himself.
I'm sitting in my seat and I'm like 11 seconds in, I'm getting my everything all ready on my computer, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh no. And I meant, oh yes, obviously, but I'm like trying to oh God, here we go. So yes, that's gonna be number one for me, is the Stadium Series. So although I'll give the edge to Ella. Ella's gonna win that one, but the Stadium Series game was pretty great.
Those are really good moments. Wow, I like that. Thank you, Bolts Breakdown, for having us.
That was a good one.
Reminisce.
Yes, it feels like a decade ago already, though.
It really does.
And just wait till the playoffs start. It's gonna feel even longer ago.
Now, Ben, we're working on our transitions, which I'm probably just negating saying that. But did you celebrate with any Penelope Bourbon after that big win at Raymond James Stadium?
Okay, so I did not that night. However, I did have some Penelope Bourbon this weekend. Is this what I think it is? No, okay, so this isn't the one that I had. Where's this camera at? There we go.
But it is Penelope Bourbon.
But I did have some Penelope Bourbon this weekend after, we'll get to it in my minus, after an unfortunate hockey game this weekend. But, yes, I did have some Penelope Bourbon this weekend. Yes, it was fantastic. We're trying to perfect the different mixers. I tried one this weekend with just like a 7-Up.
Okay.
You know, it was horrible. I couldn't do it.
I was just gonna say,
but
it
I also
sound
I
like
really
that's
messed
the
up
move.
but like it's not a great whiskey mixer. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so that was my issue. The Penelope's always great. The bourbon's always great. So yes, big fan of Penelope Bourbon. We did indulge again once this weekend. Maybe we'll have to sneak some on the team playing here for the playoffs. We'll see. We'll see. Shout out Penelope Bourbon. We appreciate you guys.
Why not?
They are a proud partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and of course, here at Into the Blue, whether you're cheering at Benchmark International Arena or you're raising a glass at home like I do, Penelope brings us together. That's us fans. One pour, one moment, one win at a time. And of course, you can find Penelope Bourbon at Publix or right here at the
Right
arena.
here.
If you're looking for a good drink on a game night,
In the
Penelope's got you
studio.
covered. Yeah, right here.
All right. That brings us to plus minus. You're gonna start.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to start, and then I just know whatever you have is going to be better than mine.
All right.
My plus is on Friday, I got to experience something new with the Lightning. When a Lightning player scores a hat trick,
I saw this story. Excellent.
I was sitting there when Anthony Shirley scored his second career hat trick earlier this month, and I'm like watching all these hats rain down. You know, it's always really exciting. You watch all the guys' reaction on the ice, and it's super cool. And then all of a sudden, the ice crew comes out, and they start picking up the hats. And I start throwing them in the buckets, and I'm starting to think, I'm like, okay, now what? Right? Like, where are those hats going? And I was like, I have to find out. I have to find out. So I started asking around, and it turns out that every team can do their own thing with them. So there's no like NHL, you must do this, yada, yada, yada. Here in Tampa Bay, the hats get donated. They used to just go to various nonprofits. COVID hits, right? There's all sorts of sanitary rules. So they stopped doing it.
Ben, I'm going to interrupt you quickly because I saw your story and was immediately kind of mad. Shirley didn't know my little social media thing that has paused since I've been gone. I might start it back up. I wanted to do this. And I was told,
ruined it?
Well, no. Because when I asked about it, I was told we don't do anything with the hats.
Okay.
So this is a new program.
It is. It's new this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So it's called Hat Tricks for Heroes. There is a wonderful organization called Support the Troops. This is what they do. Mark Van Treese is the executive director.
Great guy.
Wonderful guy. He's really passionate about helping out area veterans. They take the hats. Van Treese takes these hats, Mark does. He washes them. He cleanses them in a special frame that he found on Amazon. He washes all the hats, and then he donates them
So great.
to area veterans who are receiving treatment at the Tampa VA. And I was like, this is incredible.
So good.
So I went the other day to the donation. They brought about 60 hats to donate. And talking to these veterans was the most heartwarming thing I've ever experienced. They got to meet a couple of alums in Matthew Garant and Glenn Metropolit. Both great guys. They were happy to be there. They signed some hats for him. And I just, like, I talking to the one gentleman, and he just said, he started crying when he got his hat. And so I asked him, I'm like, what is it like for you to have an event like this? And these are all inpatients, so they're all currently living at the VA.
Yep.
He's 86 years old. He served in the Air Force, and he said, like, this is my dream. He said, I love this team. And I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, me too, right? Like, I'm a little choked up. But it was phenomenal. Getting to talk to these people, like true heroes, right? Like, it's called Hat Tricks for Heroes for program. Shout out to the Lightning for offering it. And if you want to learn more about it, there is a story on the Lightning website right now.
Good story.
That
Great
I wrote.
story.
It's just a fantastic program. So that's my plus. Is again, 6 months ago, even 3 months ago, I had no idea what the hat tricks. It turns out that a hat trick is great, not only for the team, but also for the community. So I thought that was just a fantastic little journey, and that's my plus this week.
So good. I really enjoyed reading that story. So if you haven't read it, go read it.
Thank you, Shirley. Let's hear it.
My plus, Ben, this past week, right? I eased back into work as the team was on the road. And one afternoon, my daughter Ella got to meet Caden Kren.
Ooh, that's right.
The newborn son of Christopher Kren, who also used to be on this podcast.
Which I was told today, by the way, that Caden Kren is coming for my job. This newborn baby, I've been told, is the new co-host of this podcast.
And probably Ella's going to take over for me. So there we go.
And I said he might be smarter than me today, Caden Kren. So I will gladly concede this seat to Caden Kren because if he's anything like his father, he knows he's going to know plenty about hockey. Something tells me he's already a Lightning fan.
Oh, for sure.
We were talking, I think. You think he's got a jersey yet? You think Caden's got a jersey yet?
Oh, gosh. Ella doesn't have one yet.
But she will. We just talked about
but
this.
She will.
In
I'm
short
going to do
order.
that tomorrow.
So that's a great plus, though. That's so good. How was it? How was the meet? Are they buddies already?
It was awesome. It was just 2 sleeping babies in their like car seat situations. There wasn't a whole lot of playing going on. You know, my dream was like
they're still
their
pretty
best friends
little.
already. Yeah, they just slept. But it was lovely. And Ben, to the point of, again, I keep referencing my last podcast, my first one, since coming back. Like, this is a family.
Yeah.
And yeah, Chris and his wife came over with Caden, and it was just so lovely.
See, that's a great plus. That's a great plus.
Besties.
And already.
I'm
telling you, they're going to, eventually, it's going to be Into the Blue with Caden and Ella.
Probably. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah. That's a
Okay.
good replacement.
Great.
Like I said, that they definitely would get more listens, I think. I don't want to speak for you, but I can guarantee you that Caden is cuter than I would have ever been at that age. So good for them. Good for the
them.
babies.
All right. Hit me with your minus.
Okay, so this is a tough one. And Ryan McDonough said it today. He didn't want to talk about it. I don't really want to talk about it.
Oh, I did hear this reference.
Watching the Wisconsin Badgers lose the national championship this weekend, which also, by the way, spurred the drinking of Penelope Bourbon.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for being my, my console, my little fallback plan. I was expecting it to be a celebratory Penelope Bourbon, and instead it was a sad Penelope Bourbon. Good all the same, but yes, the Wisconsin Badgers making it to the national championship and eventually losing to a very, very qualified Denver team. That team's a wagon, by the way. What is that? 3 championships in the last 4 years, I believe.
They're pretty good.
Like unreal. But it was tough to see, especially because the women's team for the Badgers just won. They were going for the double sweep here, which would have been really cool. But that team, I don't think many people had a ton of expectations for them this year. Certainly not the national championship. So good for them. However, if there is a little bit of the other side to it, there was some good news for Lightning fans. I don't know if you knew this or not, but the Lightning have a draft pick on the Denver team. So Hagen Burroughs,
yes,
who was
I
a
was gonna say,
4th round
oh my
pick
gosh.
of the Lightning in 2024, is a national champion. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Although the Badgers did lose, there was some solace in the fact that the Lightning added a national championship through
How
one of their
did he play?
prospects. So he was good. I mean, I think it was 14 points this year, 16. He's in the teens for points this year on a
Okay.
very stacked Denver team, and he's only a sophomore.
Yeah,
So the
he's
fact
young.
that he's even playing regular minutes and he's contributing on offense is great. So great hockey player. He's continuing to develop. So shout out to Hagen Burroughs. Unfortunately, he had to beat the Badgers to do it. It's a tough ending. That's my minus, is that the Wisconsin Badgers are not your national champions, at least not in men's hockey. They're still national champions.
You're right. You're right.
So
Okay. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
All right.
You know, it's hockey. It happens.
Yeah.
What's your minus?
Again, not very original because life is good, but Ben just being back, I definitely feel rusty. There was a busy morning skate. I needed Ben to double check and triple check and quadruple check lines and D pairings that I was seeing because they have changed quite a bit.
Yep.
We went into the locker room and I joked, but not really, that I was shadowing Ben today, just following him around. He asked all the questions. I was just kind of getting a feel, seeing where we were. Yeah, feel rusty. I don't like feeling rusty, so I'll give myself today and then we're back.
Well, I'll tell you
Stop
what.
saying it.
Everybody was thrilled to see you. What did I set the line at the other day with Bucky? I think I said 30 hugs on your first game day back. Where are we at? Where are we at right now? Because
I have no
everybody
idea, but-
was thrilled to see Gabby Shirley. That was the first thing
It's
that Bucky
good
said.
to be back.
Bucky said, enjoy all day. Everybody like, oh my God, Gabby Shirley. Then be like, oh, Ben's with her too. I'm like, yeah, well, welcome to my life. But we are all thrilled you're back. So
Thank you.
rusty is definitely not the word I would use to describe you. You were
Feel
out there.
it, though.
You seemed locked in at morning skate already. So
I was trying. I was really trying.
I know everybody's excited to have you back. So
Excited
you
to
might
be
feel
back.
rusty. You don't. You seem locked in and ready to go.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's great.
Hopefully the Lightning are locked in and ready to go tonight too.
Let's
Because what do we got?
go.
4 hours to game time about?
Yeah. It's about time to wrap this thing up.
Let's do it.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Into the Blue. Gabby Shirley here alongside Ben Pierce. We are so happy that you tuned in.
And we'll talk about playoffs next time.
Woo!
Thanks, guys.